Hello, my nerdlings. If you're new here, my name is Nikki. Welcome to my channel where we get nerdy. Today, I'm going to talk November's TBR. It's weird. Let me fair warn. Um, we got some nonfiction. We have some fantasy. We have some cute, cozy seasonal romance. And then we have a dark hockey romance. So let's just get into it. Let's start with The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. I feel terrible at the fact that I have never read this book. I am a science teacher. My honors bio kids are reading this book right now, and I haven't even read it. I know the story of Henrietta, but I've never read her book. Well, not her book, but the book about her. So this is following Henrietta, the story of Henrietta Lacks. She, let's see, I'll just read you the back. Her name was Henrietta Lacks, but scientists know her as Gila. She was a poor black tobacco farmer whose cells, taken without her knowledge, in 1951 became the most important tools in medicine, vital for developing the polio vaccine, cloning, gene mapping, and more. Henrietta's cells have been bought and sold by the billions, yet she remains virtually unknown and her family can't afford health insurance. This phenomenal New York Times bestseller tells a riveting story of the collision between ethics, race, and medicine, of scientific discoveries and faith healing, and of a daughter consumed with questions about the mother she never knew. Henrietta's family never received compensation. Henrietta or her family never received compensation for the use of her HeLa cells until I want to say it was August of 2023. Um, and the fact that her cells also helped develop the COVID-19 vaccine as well. Like, this is a story that needs to be told, right? Um, I assigned it to my honors bio kids, and that they have to read it and then pick something from the book, whether it's the polio vaccine, the ethics situation, or what. And they have to do research and write me an expository essay, essentially, about something of this book. But this, I think, definitely needs to be brought to people's attentions more. So that's our first nonfiction. Our second nonfiction is a sequel, and it is I Want to Die, But I Still Want to Eat Tteokbokki by Baek Se-hee. I read the first one in this, like the first book of this, a few years ago. It might have been last year, to be honest. So this is about a young woman that she goes to her therapist, um, records their sessions, transcribes their sessions, and then has like a little reflection essay at the end of each session. And I absolutely love this book. I knew that there was a second one, but it wasn't translated yet. Now I have my hands on the translation and I really want to read it. I have a student that has read the first one that really wants to read the second one. I did talk to parents and get an approval first, so don't worry about that. um, but when these are the only, this book, the first book in this, is the only one I've ever written in. Like, I annotated it. I wrote in the margins and everything. It got to the point where I told my medication manager, because I have ADHD, and some other stuff. And when I told my medication manager about it, she actually went out and read the book and said, "What part did you identify with?" Because now she's using that to help her understanding of me. So, highly recommend this book. It's super short too. It's like yeah, it's 202 pages, right? So nothing tremendously long. And it was a gift, but it doesn't say from who. So, anyways, I recommend it. Well, the first book. I can't wait to read the second one. Next, let's talk about fantasy. So this book, okay, by Abigail Owens, The Games Gods Play, beautiful edges, beautiful cover, like beautiful end pages. We got foiling, like it's just gorgeous. I know nothing about this book. I was at Target, saw it, thought it was, excuse me, really, really pretty, and bought it. The back says she'll fight for her life for the god of death. So let's see. The gods love to play with us mere mortals, and every 100 years we let them. I have not been favored by the gods, far from it, thanks to Zeus. He's such a dick. Like, honestly, Zeus needs to keep it in his pants. I digress. Living as a cursed office clerk for the Order of Thieves, I just keep my head down and hope the capricious beings who rule from Olympus won't notice me. Not an easy feat, given San Francisco is Zeus's patron city, but I make do. I survive. Until the night I tangle with a different god. The worst god. Hades. For the first time ever, the ruthless, mercurial king of the underworld has entered the crucible. The deadly contest the gods hold to determine a new ruler to sit on the throne of Olympus. But instead of fighting their own battles, the gods name mortals to compete in their stead. So why in the underworld did Hades choose me, a sarcastic nobody with a curse on her shoulders, as his champion? And why does my heart trip every time he says I'm his? I don't know if I'm a pawn, bait, or something else entirely to this dangerous, tempting god. How can I, when he has more secrets than the stars in the sky? But Hades is playing by his own rules and will win at any cost. I'm super intrigued. I have never read anything from Abigail Owen at all. There is some trigger warnings. Um, it says the story features elements that may not be suitable for all readers, including blood, gore, violence, perilous situations, hospitalizations, illness, injury, vomiting, abuse, bullying, theft, isolation, death, grief, the use of alcohol, common phobias, graphic language, and coitus on the page. Readers who may be sensitive to these elements, please take note and prepare to enter the crucible. So, just be aware, right? Anyways, this book, I want to read it. I have yet to read a mythology-based romance at all. I have read hockey. I have read vampire, werewolf, Grim Reaper, demon, but I have not read like a Hades and Persephone or like a Norse one. I don't even know if there's Norse ones, but I have not read a god one. Yeah, because the one by Emily McIntyre I did read that's called Hooked. That's a Peter Pan one. So I have yet to read a god one, and I'm really intrigued. Next is the books that have been blowing up on everything. Like they're super viral right now. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, and the Christmas Tree Farm, all by Laurie Gilmore. This is following Jeannie and Logan. She takes over the Pumpkin Spice Cafe for her aunt. Logan is a grumpy farmer. The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. Obviously, it's about a bookstore. But we have Hazel and an outgoing, gorgeous fisherman named Noah. So, we'll see how that goes. And the only reason I bought those two is so that I could read this one, because doesn't this look cute? Like, this is like all the Christmas vibes that I need. This is following Kira North. Ooh, hates Christmas. That's how it starts. Kira North hates Christmas. Um, and Bennett Ellis is on vacation in Dream Harbor, trying to take a break from both his life and his constant desire to always fix things. Okay. But somehow, fate finds Ben trapped by a blanket of snow at Kira's farm. Ooh, we got forced proximity. And despite her grinchiest first impressions and the glow of fairy lights twinkling in the trees and the promise of warming hot chocolate, maybe, just maybe, these two lost souls will have a Christmas they'll remember forever. Because y'all know how I feel about Christmas, right? If you're new here, I just spent Halloween dressed as Mrs. Claus for my students. I teach high school, okay? And I dress as Mrs. Claus for my students on Halloween, mainly because like I know some of them get really annoyed by it, so it's like my way for payback. Others, they think it's super amazing. They will call me a diva. They love seeing me dressed up. It just makes them happy and cheery. And sometimes like students were like, "Why are you dressing as Mrs. Claus?" And then they see me on Halloween and they light right up and it fills my heart. It starts off the Christmas season the right way for me. So, lastly, we have our dark hockey romance. This is the third book in a series. I read the first two books last month, I believe. It was last month. Um, and it is The Pucking Wrong Date by C.R. Jane. I am a sucker for any time they use pucking instead of the F word. I just think it's hilarious for some reason. One night of passion turns into a lasting obsession in this dark hockey romance. This is following Olivia, who is a pop star that is under her mom's thumb. Think kind of like Britney Spears. Like they're trying to get a conservatorship on Olivia. Okay. And superstar goalie Walker Disney Davis, who is every girl's Prince Charming. But behind this pretty boy exterior is a man that will do whatever it takes to get whatever he wants, even if it means crossing a few lines. Okay. Like, ooh, it's illustrated. So we got a picture of Mr. Walker Davis. I have the other books in the series right behind me somewhere. Let's see, do we have trigger warnings? Dear my red flag renegades. Okay, thanks. I feel called out. Um, bum, bum, bum. Oh, and then we got a team roster of all of the guys. We like that. Pucking Rock. We got a playlist. Trigger warnings. Um, Please be aware this is a dark romance and as such contains content that could be triggering. Elements of this story are purely fantasy and should not be taken as acceptable behavior in real life. Thank you, Queen. Finally, one of them actually says that this is not acceptable behavior. Do not fantasize, like fetishize, I guess maybe, these men. Trigger warnings for this book include stalking, manipulation, dark obsession, birth control tampering, prescription drug addiction, and sex. There are also references to past sexual and physical abuse, not from the love interest. There are no harems, cheating, or sharing involved. Walker Davis only has eyes for her. Okay, so he gonna start being a stalker. And I should not condone that type of I don't condone that behavior only in fictional men. Only time. Okay, so this is my November TBR. Oh, jeez. I'm going to drop them. All right. A lot of variety, a lot of randomness. Make sure you like the button, hit the like button if you liked the video, hit the subscribe button if you would like to see more, and comment down below if there is a book series you would like me to read or if you want to know about some of the other books I have read, because I have read a ton. Um, I have an unhealthy obsession with hockey romances right now. So there's that. Yep. Until next time, you are loved and you are valid.